I have like rambled and tried to like reel myself back in and corrected myself like 18 times until I finally got to the point where I was like, I'm just gonna stick with the simple surface stuff and not try and go more in depth because I'm 90% sure I kept messing it up. Hi everybody, my name is Rosalie and welcome back to my channel, back to Chubby. Today I'm going to talk about something I promised I would talk about over a month ago and just never seemed to get around to it because other things kept coming up. So today, for better or worse, whether or not there's something else I want to talk about, I'm going to talk about macros. So, a lot of people are already fairly familiar with macros, but if you're not, this is going to be just a very introductory sort of crash course for you. Keep in mind, I'm not a nutritionist or a dietitian. This is very surface level stuff. If you really want to know like how macros work and how they affect your body, how they interplay with each other, then there's plenty of information out there, but this is just sort of a quick and handy guide to know what we're talking about on all of these weight loss, get healthy videos. Now, feel free to correct anything and everything I say in the comments. Because as I said, one more disclaimer, I'm not qualified for this. Nutrients are split into two main groups, micronutrients and macronutrients. Micronutrients are the things like vitamins and minerals that the food gives you. So vitamin A, vitamin B, iron, etc. Macronutrients are protein, fat, and carbohydrates. Within those three big categories, there are subtypes. We're not going to go too in-depth in that today because, for one thing, I'm not qualified, and for another, that would be a really long video. But for example, within fats, there are different types of fats. There's trans fats, saturated fats, unsaturated fats, and then within unsaturated fats, there are monounsaturated fats, polyunsaturated fats. We aren't going to go that far in depth, but the same can be said for types of carbs. There's more types of carbs than just blanket carbs. Each of the macronutrients basically serves a different function in food. For example, carbohydrates tend to be primarily used for energy. They're the body's main energy source. It's the first thing your body will go to burn. Proteins tend to help build muscles and help keep some of the connective tissues in your body healthy. Fats even have their own purpose. Certain types of fat, like unsaturated fat, help sort of lubricate your cardiovascular system and your joints. Now, that doesn't mean that all types of fat are good, nor does it mean all types of carbs are good or that too much protein is good. Everything can be done to excess. Essentially, each of those macronutrients gives your body energy or calories. So for example, fat generally has about 9 calories per gram. Each gram of fat you consume gives your body 9 units of energy we call calories. So why do macros matter exactly? Well, the general basis of weight loss is that eating less calories than you burn means you'll lose weight, and eating more calories than you burn means you'll gain weight. But a calorie is not necessarily always just a calorie. I know a lot of people who don't have weight problems think that that's the case, and I mean by and large, yeah, calories in versus calories out is a good starting place for weight loss, but everybody's body burns those fuel sources differently. So for example, if you are a diabetic, or if you are insulin resistant, or if you have certain other endocrine disorders that change the way your body burns those fuels, then it's going to change the way you need to watch what you eat. It's going to change the way you lose weight. So for example, let's say you have insulin resistance, or are insulin resistant, however you want to phrase it. In a normal person, your body would produce insulin, break down glucose, use it for energy. If you are insulin resistant, your body has a hard time with that. And so rather than breaking down all the glucose, it stores a lot of it as fat. And so when you're insulin resistant, generally speaking, the more carbs you eat, the more you're going to have stored as fat. So oftentimes for people with insulin resistance, eating more protein and more fat is better because your body won't store that as easily because it has an easier time breaking it down, theoretically. So when people talk about watching their macros, what they're really talking about is watching what kind of fuel source they're going to use depending on how their body reacts to that fuel source. Sometimes when people are talking about carbs or watching their macros, they'll talk about net carbs. And what that means is that instead of just counting the carbs that they've eaten, they'll take the amount of carbs they've eaten and then subtract the amount of fiber that they've eaten and count that as their carbs. So if they've had 100 grams of carbs, but they've had 20 grams of fiber, then they'll only count it as having 80 grams of carbs. For some people that works, for some people it doesn't. The problem is that not every carb is equal, and not all types of fiber are equal. Again, this is a very quick and dirty overview, not very in-depth. There's way more qualified people out there who probably present it way better, but I hope that sort of gives you a general idea of what people are talking about when they talk about macros. If you leave me a question down below that I can answer, I will certainly try to. So leave me a comment down below with your questions if you have any. If you have corrections for me, and I'm sure there will be many, then also leave those down below because I want people to be educated, not just for me to be right. So if you know more about macros and are better at sharing it than me, then please do leave comments down below so we can help each other out, because for those of you who don't know what macros are or aren't very experienced at counting them, then I wish I could do better at explaining it and giving you the tools you need, but I know that there are tons of people here on YouTube and in the comments who do know what they're talking about. So I will be weighing in on Friday. This week is our last week of keto. And again, the meal plan and shopping lists are up on the blog. There's no meal prep this week because I've been saying I'm going to make this video for so long. I decided that it needed to be done now. So I will weigh in on Friday. I will see you then. I hope you guys are all safe and warm and happy and healthy, and at least trying your best. Bye.